Hello my fellow miners, welcome back to another video. Thank you for clicking. You're with the Idlest miner, and today we are getting into event mining once again, but only using Mr. Turner. So if you're watching along real quick right away, go ahead and rewind if you need to. I've quickly flashed through the legendary cards that I had active and my skill tree. Go ahead and pause on those if you're curious to see what I'm working with. But basically, I did not reset my skill tree. I still have all the the all mine boosts, and I do have the 2x forever boost and a maxed out add boost. But that is all I will be using this entire run through here. I will not be using any instant cash items or boost items. Trying to make it as fair as possible for those of you who would try to do this and you're not along in the game enough to have all those things maxed out. Hopefully you can use some boost items and instant cash then to kind of balance out having those extra things that I have, or not having those extra things that I might have. So started out here, did a lot of prep going into this video, and I did like a whole bunch of charts with a past mine that I had made up, and I numbered the charts for each mine shaft at 100 levels in the way that it would show me which mine shafts at each 100 levels would outproduce the next one. And then I color coded everything and started doing it, and I was really happy, when I started the mine and going through it. And then it quickly just turned into garbage, and I didn't even use all of that prep work that I had set up and done. I just ended up throwing that in the trash can and just kind of went along with it, just mine to mine, and looked at everything and their max levels. And yeah, so that's kind of how I went about this. I just kept checking every single level before I did an upgrade to see which one would give me the most income, and I went with that. So the way this video is being set up is, obviously, if you've been noticing so far, the video is very much sped up. And at this point we are down to mineshaft 10, and I am still just kind of bouncing around with each of the different mine shafts, trying to find the one that produces the most. So feel free to, once you've listened to what I'm about to explain to you, feel free to go back and, use the YouTube settings to slow down the video if you'd like to look at anything in more detail. I wasn't quite sure what the best way to do this video would be, and I'm hoping this will work out the best for anyone who's interested and ends up watching it. So up until this point, like I said, I've just been bouncing around trying to find that highest producing mine shaft. And obviously I started out with mine shaft 1, and after that I moved on to mine shaft 3. And I just kept, every time I would use Turner, I would dump all of his money into the next best producing mine shaft. After mine shaft 3, I moved on to mine shaft 8, and I actually stayed in mine shaft 8 for 2 uses of Turner's power. After that, I jumped up to mine shaft 11. That was the next best one, and then it kind of just bounced back and forth between 11, 10, went down to 9 at one point, and then back up to 11, and just kind of stayed in that area for a little while until I got up to around 200 AG, and that's when I was able to go back to mineshaft 1 and just keep Turner there and start maxing it out. And that was the point where this little challenge of only using Turner ended up being like a normal event mine where you're working from top to bottom. And so I continued with the normal event progression, just maxing out mineshaft 1 and then maxing out mineshaft 2 and working all the way down until I got to about mineshaft 15. And up until that point, each mineshaft, in order to max it out, only took about 2 uses of Mr. Turner. And that I would be able to max out definitely 1 mineshaft, sometimes even 2 mineshafts with only 2 uses of him. And that was all the way down to mineshaft 15, like I said. And then once I got down to mineshaft 15, I decided to, once I would fully upgrade a mineshaft and I had to wait for the next round to use Mr. Turner, any leftover cash that I had, I ended up dumping into the elevator and warehouse and trying to keep those balanced to a point where the time I was spending offline, I could potentially be earning, some usable income. And then from there, working my way from Mineshaft 15 to Mineshaft 20, it took about 3 uses of Mr. Turner in order to max out just one mineshaft. And getting to, let me see, look at my notes here. Going then from Mineshaft 20 to Mineshaft 25, it was kind of bounced around a little bit. It started to become very predictable in that I could get, after maxing out, let's say Mineshaft 20 to 800, the leftover cash would allow me to get Mineshaft 21 up to 768. But I would have to wait until the mineshaft got into approximately the 780 marks, somewhere in there, in order to start Mr. Turner on that mineshaft. So until the mineshaft got into the 780s, I had to keep him on the previous mineshaft because that mineshaft was earning the most income. So from mineshaft 21 to mineshaft 26, the progression kind of went being able to upgrade to 780s and then into the 790s and then finally maxing it out. And that went through all the way until mineshaft 25. And when I got to mineshaft 26, I completely royally screwed up. I wasted a ton of time in mineshaft 26 because I didn't get mineshaft 26. I'm sorry, the first time I dumped cash into mineshaft 26, it only got to level 723. And obviously 723 is a far way away from in the 780s, and yet I used Mr. Turner in mineshaft 26 the entire time, maxing it out, which was stupid. I ended up having to run Mr. Turner like 10 times, I want to say, in order to max it out. I don't know if that must have been one of my nights where I was just dead tired and trying to get some progress done, and I just wasn't paying attention, and I put him in the wrong mineshaft, and it just took a long time to do. However, moving up to mineshaft 27 all the way to mineshaft 30, that's when it became very, very predictable. I would when I finally maxed out mineshaft 26 to 800, I was immediately able to dump all the cash into mineshaft 27 to get it up to 764. So then I kept Mr. Turner in mineshaft 26 because it was still the most producing. Mineshaft 27 on the next upgrade was able to get to 779, and then the next upgrade was able to get to 785, at which point I then moved Turner into mineshaft 27 because it had reached that 780 mark, and he then, his next ability got him up to 791, the next one after that got up to 797, and then the next one after that got up to 800, obviously, at which point I dumped the rest of the cash into mineshaft 28, and that's where it started to repeat exactly at 764. And then same thing again, the next upgrade was 779, then 785, then 791, 797, and 800, and it repeated like that all the way down to mineshaft 30. And while I was working, to backtrack a little bit, while I was working from mineshaft 21 to mineshaft 30, I noticed after upgrading each mineshaft to the max, there was tons of cash left over to put into my elevator and warehouse. So that was crucial towards the end of the event in those last 10 levels, or the last 10 mineshafts, to be dumping any extra cash into the elevator and warehouse. And that was really helpful towards the end then to keep those idle incomes up and have a little extra cash then to dump into the next mineshaft. So yeah, that was kind of a lot of information there. I hope that was all as clear as it needed to be. Obviously, if anyone has any questions on any of this, please by all means ask me. It was a lot of fun to do this event using only Mr. Turner. I kind of want to do more events where I limit myself to certain super managers, or maybe even try an event with no super managers. That would definitely be a challenge. I would have to spend every waking moment doing that. Maybe have to take some time off of work even. But yeah, this is completely 100% doable for those of you who only have Mr. Turner. And like I said, I did have um, the skill tree stuff still maxed out, and I did have the forever boost and a maxed out ad boost. However, you know, not using any extra boost beyond that and not using any instant cash, I really believe that it should be possible for anyone with Mr. Turner to be able to do this. Maybe not in the 2 days that I did it in, but the events we've been getting lately are getting longer and longer, and there should be no reason why you couldn't do this in 5 days. Um, I just, I kind of want to start a second account and get Turner just to be able to prove that. And maybe I will. Let me know if you would like me to start up a second account and do kind of early game testing like that for new videos. So like I said, I had a lot of fun doing this. Hope everyone can learn something from this. Like I said, once I'm done talking here, I'm just going to let the video play out so you can see the entire event and how I did it. Use the YouTube settings and slow it down so you can see stuff more clearly. I think I sped it up like 8 times to be able to fit this in under 20 minutes. I don't expect everyone, I don't really expect anyone to watch all of it. I said everything I needed to say, but for any of the small percentage of you who do want to watch the whole thing, it's there for you. Try to be as transparent as I possibly could. So without any further ado, thank you so much for clicking it once again. Ask any questions. I try to respond to everything I get asked, and keep mining.